Hi, I'm Bob Berg. In a recent post, we looked at an example of poor customer service. Now, unfortunately, in today's day, that's just simply no big deal. It's far too prevalent. The key with this one was that a woman came in with what seemed to be a very legitimate complaint, and she was obviously very upset. And the person handling it really handled it poorly. Instead of acknowledging the person, instead of empathizing with that person, showing kindness and concern and letting her know they were on it, nah, she just really treated that person as though she was a non entity, a non person, and just went about what she did business like without an ounce of concern. It was really kind of lousy to watch, and it took that person who was angry anyway, and really you could tell it added fuel to the fire. You know, we've all read those reports or read the books that say when a person has a good customer service experience, they'll tell four other people. When they have a bad customer service experience, they'll run out and tell 11 other people. Well, the game has really changed thanks to the prevalence of social media such as Twitter and Facebook, where now when someone has a complaint or feels wronged, whether they were or not, they can put that out to a lot of people and it begins to take on a life of its own. Now, a company that does something that maybe makes a mistake can take this and they can turn it into an advantage for themselves when they handle it well. They can get a fan, they can get a raving fan, they can have this tweeted and Facebooked and YouTubed and all those other terms that have turned into verbs and so forth, and that's great. Or they can handle it lousy, and it makes it much worse. So Scott Stratten, in his great book I was rereading, it's called, and I just lost the page, it's called Unmarketing. Stop marketing, start engaging. He gave a great example of somebody who handled this really well. And it begins at Tufts University in Massachusetts. There are 3 cafeterias. They all have separate Twitter accounts, and the main function is just for them to tweet out the menu for the day. But they also hear from people, and in this case, they received a tweet from someone who had kind of a lousy experience. She writes, "I've just eaten the most disgusting apple in the world. How do you grow something so horrible tasting? Get it together!" Exclamation point. Now, not a nice way to put it. And that also, again, is just sort of representative of how people communicate on the internet and on social media. They really don't take time to think about what they're saying or how they say it. They just say it. It is what it is. That's life. And so it's up to the company to respond to that as opposed to react to that. So as Scott writes, the person with the account at the cafeteria wrote back. She tweeted back, "Sorry about the apple. Which location did you get it from?" Now, here's what Scott says about this. They showed that they were listening. They showed that they cared and that they wanted to do something about it. Now, what happened next, Scott says, is very important to see because the customer tweeted back, "It's okay. I've just never had one that was so bad before. I got it from DeWick," which I assume is the actual location. Scott writes, notice her first 2 words, "It's okay." So she's already backing off, already letting the person know it's no real problem, no big deal. She just really wanted to be acknowledged and wanted to hear that they were sorry and that they were accepting responsibility and were going to do something about it. Now, it could have ended right there, but as Scott says, the person from the cafeteria Twitter account took it a step further and wrote, "Thanks for the location info. Yes, it's fresh fruit and sometimes they go bad, but we should catch it before it gets to you." Scott says here again, they acknowledge her and they acknowledge the mistake. He says they could have gone another route and just said fresh fruit goes bad, that's life. But they didn't. And the chances are very good that that person, that customer, is going to tell other people about that great service. She'll be a raving fan. She'll tell others about it. And we've seen so many examples on social media where this has been the case. But as Scott points out, there have been many cases where companies have handled it just horribly. And he talks about that next, and we'll share that example in the next video. Again, I got this from the book Unmarketing by Scott Stratten. Stop marketing, start engaging. You can find Scott on Twitter at Unmarketing. So that's all from now. See you again next time. I'm Bob Berg. Make it a great day.